I said this the other day whenever we did the NFC East draft grades. Both New York teams hit it out of the park with this. I could not have been more impressed. And it was like with every pick, I thought like, oh, this has got to be the pick. This is the pick where they're the Jets. They screwed up. Here we go. Let's see it. Oh wow, they didn't screw. Okay. So with the fourth pick, I'm like, look, you got to take Sauce Gardner right here. He allowed a 0.0 passer rating throughout his senior year, this last year of college football for him. And he allowed like a total, he had no touchdowns on him his entire college career. I mean, this could literally be the next Revis Island. Sauce Island is what they could call this guy.
That's stupid.
So, right. So I'm like, with this fourth pick, you got to go Sauce, especially since Stingley's off the board. You really don't have anybody else here that, with your needs that you need to go with. So they go with Sauce Gardner. And I'm like, wow, all right, they're the Jets. They did a good pick. All right, let's see. They got the 10th pick. They'll screw that one up, though. Just wait. So we get through, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We get to 10, and I'm like, all right, this is the part. This is the part where they fumble the bag and all hell breaks loose, and it's just bad. Here it is. Oh wow, they got Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. They got their wide receiver for the future that they needed. Okay. So then, you wait and they had traded around and stuff like that. And then they got to the 26th pick. And we're like, oh, okay, here we go. The Jets move. It's right here. This is where. And then, wow, they got Jermaine Johnson. So who could be the most underrated defensive end in this draft class? A guy who actually could be a Rookie of the Year candidate as well, who nobody is expecting. So they got Jermaine Johnson. Bang. That's another great first-round pick for them. So here we go. We're headed into day 2. I'm like, they got an early second-round pick. They'll screw that up. They have to. Breece Hall, running back out of Iowa State, filled the running back hole that they needed since Michael Carter had some injury issues last year, and that was pretty much the only back that they have. So I'm like, wow, Breece Hall, best running back in this draft class possibly, and there he goes, to the Jets. The Jets are really filling the holes they need. So we get to the 3rd round, and I'm like, here we go. This is it, right? No, Jeremy Ruckert, tight end out of Ohio State. Not only did they pair him with Garrett Wilson, who they worked so well together at Ohio State as a receiving pair with Chris Olave, that really Olave and Wilson would have been the best duo they could have got here. But a second best duo, obviously, since they weren't looking for 2 wide receivers, would be Ruckert and Wilson. And they got Ruckert. And Ruckert is an underrated tight end, and he is a guy who I think really could stick around in the league for a very long time. Ruckert is a guy who can block incredibly well for you. He's a good red zone target, a good vertical threat. He catches the ball incredibly well, and he really just does it all for you. So he's just a utility blocking and receiving tight end for this team. And like I said, they hit it out of the park there. And then moving down, Max Mitchell and Michael Clemens, offensive tackle out of Louisiana and defensive end out of Texas A&M. 2 guys who I thought were going to be a second, 3rd round guy, a day 2 guy, and they fell to the 4th. So what did the Jets do? They picked guys who were great and shouldn't be there anymore. And I was incredibly impressed with the whole draft, and I was so not confused. It was so hard for me to make the decision of what their best pick was. I had already figured out the draft grade from the start, and that was an A plus, somewhere in there. So I'll give them A plus. And their best pick, it was tough. It was tough because you got Sauce Gardner, who could be one of the best prospects in the draft. Garrett Wilson, who could be one of the best prospects in the draft. Jermaine Johnson was really interesting to me because he fell. He should not have been there at that time, and he was. So for them taking him at the spot that they got him, I'll take Jermaine Johnson at the 26th pick in the 1st round. That was their best draft pick. As for value and draft pick spent, that's their guy. That was a great pick.